injustice that has been caused.
Yeah, fair enough. Well, thank you so much for joining us. Well, tonight on our debate on India Decides, are government safeguards alone enough to prevent misuse of Section 66A? Joining us, Nirmala Sitharaman, National Spokesperson for the BJP, Sohail Seth, Managing Partner of Counselage, Rahul Narvekar, Head of the Legal Cell of the Shiv Sena, Sanjay Jha, Co-founder of HamaraCongress.com, Rahul Ishwar of the Sabarimala Trust, he joins us as well. But let me come across to Nirmala Sitharaman first. Kapil Sibal now says that if there is a senior police officer of the rank of IG to oversee cases like this, then perhaps there won't be misuse. Is that good enough?
Well, at this stage, the steps taken by the government may not really meet up all the expectations that we have on this. But clearly, even while drafting the law, there has been a lot of ambiguous terminology used, which can be subjective in interpretation, which can be interpreted in such a way that it can cause, one set of interpretation which will be acceptable and may not be for somebody else. So the ambiguity in the terminology used is certainly something which could have been prevented even if at the time of introduction of this law we had applied our mind in the Parliament. And therefore, yeah, I refer to the discussion which happened, probably an impromptu discussion which happened in May 2012, looking at the need to make this law a far more meaningful law, because containing technology is going to be a very difficult proposition. It's a dynamic situation, and containing many things which happen in the social media which uses technology may be very, very difficult, and we should have really applied our mind even at the stage of introduction of this bill in 2008 post the Mumbai blast. I think that winter session lots of things happened where we have not really in the parliament applied our minds.
Sanjay
I think
Jha,
time is now up.
Fair enough. I just want to bring in Sanjay Jha. Sanjay, a lot of people would actually say that while Kapil Sibal, the IT minister, in his remarks,
just one, let me finish one thing.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm not able to see the other panelists, yes, but from the way you have introduced the panelists, I find the absence of a representative from Maharashtra government.
No,
really
we've actually
a big gap.
We've actually got Rahul Narvekar of the Shiv Sena as well, not the Maharashtra government per se, but Rahul Narvekar of the Shiv Sena, and becomes particularly relevant in this instance.
And the Congress.
No, that's right, fair enough, but we've got the closest we could to
NCP and the Congress which misuse the police.
Well, it's under pressure is the allegation.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. Yeah, Shiv Sena is running Maharashtra. Let's get on with the debate.
All right. Thanks, Sohail, for that kind prod. But let me go across to Sanjay Jha. Sanjay Jha, a lot of people feel that it's important for Kapil Sibal to have been more direct, to have said that, look, this law is rubbish, it needs to have changed. Why do we necessarily have to go through this extended period of seeing whether the new things that he's trying to do are going to work? Quite clearly, they may not.
Shom, let me just put the discussion in its proper perspective. Number one, it's a fact that social media, the internet, is a new emerging media platform like television, like print, like radio, and it's a social phenomenon. It's a new beast that not just India but every good democratic government in the world is trying to cope up with. It's a challenge, it's a new force run by a very young demographics all over the world, and it's posing its own threats, anonymity, all
no,
kinds
but Sanjay,
of
this is the part that I don't understand. We are pretending over here, or we are believing that the internet was invented yesterday. It's been around for a very long time.
Absolutely.
So I mean,
Vishnu, there's a difference.
Yes.
Vishnu, there's a difference. The difference is that unlike the conventional mediums that we are used to, which at best can be interactive, but here you're talking about a massive multiplier effect that can happen when things go viral and can have their own repercussions, which is why not too long ago on your channel we were discussing about the challenges that are actually confronted with to the country and its regulators when the issues in Assam came up, and that is not something very unusual. Ramchandra Guha in his article in Outlook talks about how there has been a massive deluge of hate mail from internet Hindus. Now that's a reality we can't ignore. So there are challenges. I would not like to apologize like my counterpart in the BJP that things should have been different. The truth is that everyone in the world is coping with that. You know, even the US government arrested Vikram Buddhi, an Indian computer
Sanjay,
scientist,
I must
because he
confess, this
posted
is the
hate
part which I
messages
don't
on a
also
Yahoo board.
understand. Why do we necessarily have to compare ourselves with the US or other countries? I mean, we've got lawyers, we've got politicians, it's their job to be actually doing this. But hang on, Sanjay, I just wanted to bring in Suhail
I'll tell you
over
why,
here.
because
Suhail,
Facebook,
what are your...
No, 1 minute, because Facebook,
Yes.
YouTube and Google are US-based companies, and as we all know that when you have certain companies with social media starting off in the origins of those nations, obviously the regulations come faster. So Section 66 is no different, as Kapil Sibal mentioned in an interview with Barkha Dutt yesterday, than what you have in the UK and USA already. So there's no need to apologize. It's a process of evolution, and we will find a solution.
So we follow in the footsteps of others because perhaps they are more experienced than us.
But there are 70 million users in India.
Yeah, but that's just the point. 70 million users in India. Maybe we should think through the laws ourselves rather than say that, look, America has done this and England has done that. But Suhail, you had a point to make. Go ahead.
Look, let's be real and, forget this BJP Congress constant baiting each other for no rhyme or reason. The reality is we had a stupid law which was interpreted by stupid people who took stupid steps to arrest the wrong people. In this country, they won't arrest people who incite communal violence. They won't arrest rioters. They won't arrest murderers. They won't arrest people who indulge in corporate fraud. The reality is as follows. What happened in Palghar was stupid, silly and draconian. And let's be men enough to accept that. Why did it happen? It happened because one gentleman or two or three chose to interpret a menacing law, no pun intended, in a manner which was both despicable and seemed to be following appeasement rather than objectivity. So what has this girl Shreya Singhal done? It took a 21-year-old student to wake up the country, and thanks to the intervention of the Chief Justice of India, to say that when you make laws, use just one sense, common. Because common sense is understood by common sense people and by and for the common man.
Okay, I just wanted to go across the Shiv Sena, so he'll just hang on a second. I just wanted...
1 minute, let me finish.
Yeah.
One last point. It is unfair to blame either the BJP or Kapil Sibal or anyone, because on your channel, Kapil also said it is not Kapil Sibal's law, it was passed by Parliament. So in Parliament, everyone who voted for that law is in a way responsible. But then to expect Parliament to be continuously brilliant when they are working is also expecting a bit much. So given all the circumstances, we're like the bumblebee. Aerodynamically, we're not supposed to fly, but we don't know that, so we keep flying happily. That's the situation we are in.
Maybe we don't know where we are flying, Suhail, that seems to be the problem.
As our Chief Justice to actually knock sense. No, it took a Chief Justice of India to knock sense into us.
Okay.
And for a 21-year-old bright girl to highlight the issues.
Okay, fair enough. Rahul Narvekar, how do you react to what the Supreme Court has said today? Quite clearly, the court it has been disturbed by what happened in Palghar, and they feel that this law has been misused. How do you react to that?
See, before we decide as to whether a law is excessive or not, we need to understand the background in which this law was enacted. This particular enactment was done pursuant to a resolution passed by the General Assembly of the United Nations, adopting a model law with regards to social media network or per se internet use for commercial transactions, etc. So this particular legislation or a similar kind of legislation is enacted all over the world in different countries, and similar provisions are prevalent in other countries as well. So to blanket say that this particular law is a horrendous law or is a draconian law probably would not be absolutely correct. Yes, I absolutely concede to the fact that you need to, the problem lies with the implementation. You need to regulate the implementation of the provisions of Section 66A. When you say that you can arrest, there has to be a format, there has to be a precedent for cases which are likely and deserving to be arrested, and for cases which are not as serious.
The obvious, and the reason we are asking you this question is because it was members of the Shiv Sena who seemed to be responsible in the first instance for the pressure on those two girls in Palghar, and therefore, you know, the rules being broken or the misuse of this law was because of members of your party. So, I mean, isn't it in a sense the Shiv Sena which has been asked questions by the Supreme Court?
Well, number one, I would like to first clarify that I am here not to defend an individual. I am here to put forward the position of my party on the issue. Number two, nowhere has it been stated in the FIR or otherwise that the people who were involved in the violence were Shiv Sainiks. Number three, I do not support any kind of violence, that is true. But you also need to look at the circumstances in which this whole episode took place.
So if they were Shiv Sainiks, you disown them. Rahul, if they were Shiv Sainiks, you disown them.
Well, unlike the media, I don't like to jump the gun, you know. Okay. I like to wait for a proper investigation. I don't believe in media trials. And I go by the FIR and the records on place. The FIR as on today, if you had a careful reading, clearly states